What does being equal in the eyes of law mean? What does it mean as a title?
Means that nobody is like distinguished, like biased, stuff.
Nice. कुछ पक्षपात नहीं है. Nobody is special. Nobody is this.
Justice.
Huh?
Justice.
Justice.
And he gave equal opportunities to everybody.
And equal justice to everybody.
Justice to everybody.
Very controversial statement I'm going to make. Equal justice to everybody doesn't work.
And obviously, based on your karmas, whatever the karmas that you have done, because
No, that
opportunities
is
will
not.
come.
That justice you're not doing. That is justice he is doing.
Yeah.
But justice of this world is not equal. This is why many people are against Manodharma Shastra. Because Manodharma Shastra doesn't give equal punishment for everybody. If he is a Brahmana, he is given a different type of punishment for the same problem. And if he is a Kshatriya, he is given a different punishment. If he is a Vaishya, he is a different punishment. Shudra is a different punishment. Why? Why like this? क्या पक्षपात क्यों करते हैं? सबका एक ही है. जो भी गलती करता है उसको, what is the point? What we need to understand is the beautiful system of Varnashrama that has been established is so well thought out that we will not be able to understand. Just as when something goes wrong, their punishment is lighter for a Brahmana. Similarly, please understand, a Brahmana cannot have more than one wife. Not favorable at all for him. A Brahmana, for him it is sin to drink alcohol. भैया जी के क्या फायदा? दारू नहीं पीता है, जिया मरा कुछ फर्क नहीं है. So he is dead all his life because of all. The same Manodharma Shastra puts the rule that Brahmana cannot do these things. But for a Kshatriya it gives him all the opportunities to engage in that. And therefore when a Kshatriya does a sin also, the punishment for him is different. Yes? And for a Brahmana the punishment is different. Like if you see a dog, this is Kanda, Ramayana. A dog came to Rama. How many of you know this? Heard this before? It's interesting. In connection with Sita's abandonment, when Sita has to be sent away for 4 days, literally Rama never came out in the picture of anybody, including the brothers. Literally nobody saw him. When he came out saying, I have neglected my duty as a king. That 4 days I have not been able to do my duty as a king. Therefore now whatever has been missed, we have to catch up on the double. Now let's get back there. So doing his duty, doing dharma, being there to mete out justice is the most important role of a king. Therefore, if you see, the king is considered 1/4 Amsha of Indra. He is respected in that manner. So Bharata is later saying that to Rama. Lakshmana is saying that to Rama. And he says, in my estimation, the king is not even mortal. He is not a normal man. He is beyond that. So, the duty of the king is to give out justice to anybody and everybody. And I'll share another story with you and then come to this story of Rama and we'll deal with the Rama and the dog and then go back, having started. Nice, good that none of you have heard it. This dog came asking for justice. So then Rama said, okay, let's hear him out. What happened? The dog was unwell. He was lying on the street. And there's a Brahmana who came and he kicked the dog or hit him with a stick. Said, he was in some state of anger. So he punished the dog in that manner for nothing that the dog did. So the dog said, I've not done anything, but he, out of his anger, he has done this to me. Now what punishment you are going to give for a Brahmana? That too, he didn't kill the dog or anything. Hey, Lati Mara. Yes. What are you going to give? So then, none of the kings will mete out any justice without actually consulting their Gurujan and the mantris. Specifically, unless it's a very clear, evident, regular case. All special cases done with advice. So finally they say, what do you think, what does the dog think should be done? So the dog says, actually make him the GBC for this Mathadipati. Make him the Mathadipati of this particular Matha. Everybody was shocked. Hey, what's happening here? He actually harmed you and you're trying to give him the glory of being the Mathadipati of a huge Matha, and all, everybody is going to fall at his feet and they're going to respect him. He's going to become a popular person. He's going to be on Insta, Facebook, everywhere. So, what are you doing? He said, wait and watch. This is to explain the dangers of being in spiritual position. You put somebody in a spiritual position, to fall is like a 75% inevitability. Something small goes here, there, it's like the razor's edge to be in a big spiritual position in this material world, more so in Kali Yuga. In Rama's time it was so difficult, then even think of what it is today. So, this was the mood with which justice was meted out. Yes? And the laws were very clear, the understanding was very clear, the purpose was very clear. There's one story, these are two stories about kings in the south. And the one other devotee gave me a story which I missed to share. I shared that story that one Vivek had said. Can you just pick that up so that I'll be able to use the names? I shared it in the Ramayana forum. Okay. Mullaikku Ter Kodutta Pari. Oh, it's all Tamil, you won't understand anything. Pari was his name, the king. Mullai means, what happened? This king came, he was going in the jungle, thank you. He was going in the jungle. So he stopped to drink water. And he liked the jungle, he liked the beauty of it. He stopped for much longer than he would think. He spent a little time. When he came back to his chariot, he saw that there was a jasmine creeper that was nearby. But in the time that he went, leaving his chariot there, the jasmine creeper already went around his chariot. He was about to go lift it off and move, but then he stopped. He said, it's not the problem of the creeper. I had come, and it's the nature of the creeper to cling on to anything that's stationary near it. I had come and left my chariot here. He left his golden chariot there and walked back to his kingdom. Walked through the forest to go and reach his place. This same person, later, he was known to be such a great Dhanakarta, giver of anybody who asks. Yes, such a great personality. So once 3 kings attacked him simultaneously. But his fortress and the way they had been preserved, they were quite self-sufficient. Nothing happened, they couldn't do anything. These guys have come to attack him. इनके लिए खाना पीने का नहीं है, वो घर पे बैठा हुआ, उसका क्या कुछ फर्क नहीं है, आनंद से चला रहा है राज. So they didn't know what to do. So, but even then in those days, the poets, sadhus will go in, come out. Everything is closed for everybody else, but for the sadhus, everything is this thing. Yes? So, one poet came from inside. So the other kings asked him, what's happening inside? Why is he so strong? For months we have garrisoned him, but we are not able to do anything. Also need a tissue box. We are not able to do anything. So what's happening? He said, listen, he is completely self-sufficient. Even for 2 years you stand here, nothing is going to happen to him. So then they said, what are we going to do? This poet told him, the greatness of this king is if you go and ask him for anything, he will give it to you. So these three kings went dressed as dancers or jesters or something like that. So they went into that space and then they asked the king. The king said, what do you want? He said, they want only two things. What are they? First is your kingdom, second is your life. The entire nation stood up against it to say, no, don't give these guys anything. We know what you stand for. Don't give these guys anything. No, nothing to me. It's my life. So what? Doesn't matter. I've given a word and I stick to it. This is the strength of the words that were given of those days. So, another rule, which is a very difficult to understand rule. देखो आज सीता के विषय पर बहस क्यों हो रही है? Question is Rama such a selfish fellow that he wants to maintain his name, that he is a great Satyavan, whatever word, he maintained law, he this thing, or second that he suspected Sita. Did he suspect Sita? That's a different question. And we will understand that very clearly when we read Ramayana. We will deal with it on one other session. The reality is no. He knew very well Sita was beyond reply. But he has to put justice in place. Why? That we are going to see. Why this is justice? किसी ने कुछ दोष किया ही नहीं, तो why you have to punish and give? Why you call that justice? Yes, we will understand that particular point today. So, in Manu Dharma Shastra it says, a king under no circumstance can turn his back and run away from a battle. Abhi bhaiya samjho. Now enlistment is happening. India comes up with a new law and they say all young people have to enlist to the army. Vignesh will go, Keshav will go, Karthik will go. थोड़ा डराएगा ये लोग सब भाग जाएगा इधर से. Somebody raises his voice, these buggers will run away. But by law, for the sake of your nation, if you have to go and enlist yourself in the army, there is no two ways about it. You will be in prison if you don't follow that. In countries where this is law, you will be in prison if you don't follow that. People run away from their kingdom if they want to avoid. They run away from their country. Now, can you force people like that? It is happening. Singapore's law, you have to be enlisted in the army for some time.
South Korea also.
South Korea is law. US, it was a law. Today you have to give, if you give 20 different reasons, मेरा हाथ टूटा हुआ है, मैं नालायक हूँ, जा ही नहीं सकता हूँ, आंख नहीं दिखता है. You give multiple reasons, then you may be able to get out of the army, but you have to enlist. Yes, in India they were talking about making this a law and bringing people to enlist so that they get an affection for the nation. So one who enlists in the king to be a part of the army, that person will actually understand. I'm going to interview one of our Subhash Prabhu. Subhash Prabhu's wife was in the army. She was a commander on the nursing side, and she lived in Kashmir with kids. You know what it is to live in Kashmir with kids? When insurgency is happening. भैया आप और मैं तो रहेंगे नहीं, बेड पैक करके भाग जाएंगे. Why? Because प्राण जाए पर जान न जाए, कुछ भी जाए, वचन जाए, धन जाए, कोई कुछ भी जाए पर जान न जाए, जान के लिए कुछ भी करेंगे. और for this is our concept. This is how much we can see. But for a Kshatriya had benefits. Kshatriya had the right to collect tax. We'll see that particular verse also. Rama is talking about that later. I'll come to that place. Then Manunidi Choda is another king in the south. What happened with him? A cow came by one day, and the king was able to see, the queen was able to see, in this case, this other story that this Prabhu had sent me, the queen had seen that her son went riding in his chariot recklessly, and she was coming behind, and she was able to see that the calf had been killed, and the mother cow was sitting there grieving. So the question was asked, what is your duty? Yes? What is your duty? Ahalyabai Holkar. What should you do for this case? This is called retributive justice. There are 4 types of justice. One is called retributive. Let me come to that segment. First is retributive justice. Retribution means tera aisa hua, so the same thing what happened to you has to be meted out to be. This is retributive justice. Another is deterrent. Somebody does something wrong, if I immediately punish that person, everybody will know that ऐसे किया तो ऐसे punishment मिलेगा, तो बाकी नहीं करेंगे. That is deterrent. Another is part of the same thing is preventive. You know that this is going to happen. If you put something in place, that will not happen. Something negative, that is preventive. Reformative is आदमी को बदलना है. We have to. It's not just punitive, not just punishment, but reformative, corrective. That the person will change his perspective, will change in his life. So there are different types and different reasons for punishment. So Ahalyabai Holkar was asked, so what will you do? Justice for this cow. She said, my son will be put to death in the same way that the calf was put to death. And her son was ran over by the chariot wheels to death. This is history, not kahani. Same thing happened with Manunidi Choran did the same exact thing, and it was in connection with the cow. And his son had killed. He was ruling from Tanjore. So the question was, how is he going to respond? Eye for an eye. So the suffering that the cow had, that same suffering me and my wife will have to go through. Yes? Because of his recklessness. So for the sake of their kingdom, for the sake of their praja, for the sake of justice, they will do anything. Forget their own family. We are all crying about Sita. Yes? Because we cannot see other than a man and woman relationship is the most important. माँ बाप जब लात मार के घर से भगा दिया, कोई और कुछ important नहीं है. बीवी का प्रदक्षिणा करो, बीवी का अभिषेक करो प्रतिदिन. That's the life that people want to have. Women also think they are very entitled today. Oh, patriarchal society. That's why they did this. Respect women. Respect women in their right space, in the right way. Look at what's happening next. There was a Sagara in the Vamsha of Raja. So it's because of Sagara. Somebody knows the name Sagara? Usse Sagar bani. Or Sagara's few generations down, they bought Ganga. Yes? Bhagirath was a subsequent this thing. Now, Sagara, in Sagara's generation, in Sagara's parampara, which is again Rama's parampara, there was a firstborn by name Asamanjasa. When Kaikeyi had to send Rama out to the forest, Kaikeyi is saying, oh, in your family itself this has happened. What happened in my family? Saying in your family they sent this Asamanjasa was thrown out of the kingdom, no? His father sent him to the forest. Oh, there was another sadhu there. She won so many enemies in just that one day. Kaikeyi won so many enemies. So another minister who was there, his name is something with S. I'm forgetting his name. Shatananda, if I'm right. So what he did, I think Shatananda is Ahalya's son. So this sadhu came and asked her, you are saying that Asamanjasa, because Asamanjasa happened, Rama should be sent to the forest? They hold it. What are you talking about? Anybody know Asamanjasa's story? Asamanjasa was a wonderful guy. He liked to go bowling regularly. You know? You've gone? Bowling? Keshav?
Yeah, I went.
Dubai Bowling Center? You've gone?
One or twice.
Twice.
Yeah, I went twice.
Yeah. But you can't do bowling like Asamanjasa. I bet on it. You have to accept.
Yeah.
Why? Because Asamanjasa will catch young children by their legs and do bowling with them. Throw them into the Sarayu river. So then, the people there were shocked that you can give the example of Asamanjasa and compare him to Rama. So what did they do about Asamanjasa? As I mentioned, he is a bowling expert. Wonderful fellow. So, you know what they did? The citizens came to the king. They were angry. Vrinishwaya ekam. They said, give up one. Either you give up on us or give up on your son. Easy decision. So tough, yes. But the king's allegiance is not to his son. The king's allegiance is not to his wife. The king's allegiance is not to his family. The king's first allegiance is to his country, to his praja. This, till the time we don't understand this, we will always keep talking, why he sent Sita, why he sent Sita. Same dialogue will keep coming. That's a problem. So what did he do? He packed Asamanjasa out of that space. He said, people came, spoke to him. He said, okay, I heard you out. Asamanjasa is sitting there. Is Asamanjasa, go get on your chariot. Called a servant. He said, go bring his wives and a few servants that he needs. With what he is wearing, he sent him out to the forest. He said, you are banished for good. Never come back to this kingdom again. Uska kaun roega? Ro na uske liye bhi. All the Sita protesters. Why did you protest? No, it's a man. So it's a different ball game, is it? No, it's days of equality. Why are you so... Come on, let's talk. What's the point? This is the difficult decisions that kings have had to take. You have heard of the queens in Rajasthan? I couldn't pick that story. If somebody can help me with that, I'll be very, very happy. There's a story of a particular kingdom where the king went to wage a war and the prince or the king came back running, leaving his army behind, defeated, coming back into his fort. They closed the door of the fort and he said, Jao Veer Gati Pao. Why this wife did like this to the husband? No, we'll all start going. Protest morcha. Yes? Because this is dharma. Because this is the duty of the king. Manu Dharma Shastra says when a king is challenged, he can never turn down a battle or turn back from a battle. And if he dies in battle, Virgati Pata hai, that is Swarga for him. He runs away from battle, jo peet dikhakar bhagta hai, for him it is hell. Yes? And then the punishment for one who does not deserve to be punished. The king, a person, if a king punishes somebody who doesn't deserve to be punished in a particular way, and if the king punishes him wrongly, the king will go to hell. So, how many stories we have seen of mothers sending their son to get Virgati? You remember any? मालूम है, बच्चा है, युद्ध में भेज दिया. किसको भेजा? Who was sent? Come on!
अकबर के बेटे को भी भेजा था.
I don't know.
अहिल्या भाई? No. Her son was small.
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu, yes.
और कितने चाहिए? There are many examples that we can get straight from our scriptures. He was not even 16. When Rama was sent out to fight, that also we should file a suit separately for that. Rama was 14. At that time, Dasharatha sent him to fight. So this is, we have to file a, what is that case?
Underage.
Huh?
Underage.
Child abuse.
Child abuse.
We have to find a child abuse case. We have to file for Dasharatha for this particular thing. Because that is dharma of a Kshatriya. When a boy who has already learnt his fighting, this thing, how old are you?
I'm 20 now.
बहुत हो गया है. Rama went when he was 15.
You can join the army.
हाँ, you got 5 extra years already. So अभी ready हो जाओ युद्ध करने के लिए. You are not Kshatriya, no? Give me that as a response. So, one more Mata, Kshatrani, who sent her son out. Give me one more. भागवत में आता है. छोटे बच्चों में एक. इसके ऊपर क्लू कौन दे सकता है? Kshatrani sending out a Kshatriya boy. Punyam madvanam yatra sandhya.
Dhruva.
बचाया आपने. So that's Dhruva Maharaj there. Yes. Dhruva Maharaj's mother sent that boy out at age 5. You tell me which mother will have the heart to do that. It is only a Kshatrani. A Kshatriya has the dam in him that his one hand is cut. Still with the other hand he will take the sword and he will continue fighting. He's got bullet. Otherwise Hindi film में ही होता है. 10 बुलेट मारो तब भी उठ के भाग चलता आएगा. वो दुनिया में नहीं होता है. But Kshatriya has that capability in him because they are trained in that manner. So if a Kshatriya man has that, even a Kshatrani has that. Yes, she doesn't bother for anybody's life. She also lives for dharma. ऐसे नहीं है only the men folk are supporting dharma. Only men folk प्राण जाए पर वचन न जाए is not only meant for the men folk. Yes. Is it possible that the men folk have a different value in a family and the women have a different value in a family? No way. They will all stand for the same thing. They will do anything for that sake. Why the Kshatranis had no problem killing themselves when the Mughals were invading? They just jumped into fire. This is the same mood of Sati. Sati is actually meant only for mostly Kshatriyas. And for those Kshatrani women, that somebody got cut, little this, little that. These are not people who will cry, oh, he's bleeding. Some people you just see one child little bleeding. This is not the people we are talking about. We are talking about people who are very purpose driven, who want to live for their nation, for whom. How did Bhishma enjoy Krishna? The ways gopis enjoy. That's why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying Bhishma's arrows he was shooting right at Krishna. And every time he sees him bleed, he's smiling. Good one. I got you one more time. And Krishna is also smiling. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying this is like the flowers that the gopis throw on Krishna. This is a Kshatriya's rasa. This is how a Kshatriya deals with things. So we don't even know what a Kshatriya is. That's why we are talking about this. We don't know what is the purpose of a kingdom. We don't know what is the purpose of their life. We don't know the values that they stand for. मेरा क्या value है? मेरा boss मेरे को बहुत देर बैठने के लिए बोल दिया. 1-2 महीना मैं बीवी का चेहरा देख नहीं पाया. बीवी बहुत गाली देती है. मैं I'll quit the job. भाई वो क्या Ram will quit the job, run away somewhere, leave the kingdom, go somewhere else. This is our mentality. We think everything is valuable if wife is not happy. And that is why sending Sita out is such a big issue. Because you think wife is the most important priority of a man. It's true for every Aam Aadmi man in Kali Yuga.
Not for Kshatriya.
Not for a Kshatriya. For a Kshatriya, okay. These boys enlist in the army. Same example. After they enlist in the army, if one of these guys is asked to go to Kargil, And the guy says, actually, my mother is not feeling very well. My wife is pregnant. Say, Bhaiya, tera kaam udhar hai. Don't even look this side. Go there where you have to fight for the nation. There is no holiday given for any of these things. If somebody is ailing, this other case I wanted to share with you, this Subhash Prabhu's wife. Mataji's father was terminally ill. But that time there was an insurgency that happened and she wanted to go see her father in the last minute. Maybe she'll never get to see him in his life. They didn't allow her to go. Because at that time a big insurgency happened, number of people came in. So what is more important? तेरा बाप को तुम देख ही नहीं पाओगे. Is my father more important or is my nation more important? For a Kshatriya, nation is more important. You understand? And therefore for Rama, the nation is more important than Sita. Conclusion 1. Most important conclusion we need to understand. Let's look at this one more charitra, very heart-rending story. How many of us have heard Harishchandra's story? What is Harishchandra's wife's name? Did I say it before? Taramati or Chandramati, both names available in different spaces. Chandra is the biggest of taras in which space. So, see the beauty of her. The other day before, when the prior class I gave a class, at that time I spoke about how Harishchandra gave a word. Harishchandra gave a word that he is going to give dana to Vishwamitra, not in his presence, that he had to fulfill it. He gave it in his dream. Vishwamitra came in his dream, and in his dream he told me that I am giving you this as dana. Early morning he wakes up and he says, I have already given dana to Vishwamitra. He's asked me for something and I have given him dana. So Vishwamitra comes in the morning to test him. Yeah. If it was me, then I would say, oh, Swamiji, welcome. Oh, when did you come? Why will I speak about a dana? I gave my whole kingdom and all my wealth I gave in my dream. Who is going to know? Yes? And what proof is there? No. So he came. So then he said, I want all the wealth you have. Okay, all the wealth you want for this thing? Take it. Everything given. He said, where should I send it to you? Courier mein bhej dena. Where should I send it? He said, no, you keep it with you. I will take it later. Very important lesson coming from this. When you have decided you want to give dana, it has to be done immediately. Because आज करे तो अब, because kal suddenly COVID next version is coming, you don't know what will happen. हाथ में शायद रहे न रहे, परिस्थिति कैसे बदल जाएगा, nobody knows. So when you have decided you want to give something, they say there are two things, कन्या और धन. दूसरों को देने का चीज दोनों. Yes, once you have decided you are going to give, no point in keeping it in your hand. It has to be delivered immediately. So what Vishwamitra did is he played a game. He immediately saw to it that they have the worst drought in the kingdom. Pura Kangal Desh. So what will king do? He has to take care of his people. जो भी पूरा धन था इकट्ठा किया हुआ, जो उसने विश्वामित्र को दे दिया, वो सब लेके लोगों का भलाई के लिए यूज कर दिया. जब आएंगे मुनि उनसे बात कर लूंगा, मेरे लोग मर रहे हैं इधर, मैं करूं क्या? What am I going to do? He gave the whole thing to him. Oh, you listen to this story, it's like the most heart-rending story that I've ever seen on Vishwamitra. So then he says, hey, listen, I'll give you everything back straight on. Just tell one lie, Just say I didn't commit to give you. I'll give you the entire thing back. He said, no way. So then he says, he asked Taramati, you tell a lie. बच्चा 4 साल 3 साल का बेटा है, बच्चे को पूछता है तू बोल एक झूठ नहीं. So the whole family sets out. कंगाल पॉपर काशी जाता है. काशी जाने के बाद वो जब जाता है वो वापस बुलाता है विश्वामित्र उसको, बुला के बोलता है हाँ ये बीवी का गहना है ना, उसे देके जाओ, वो भी राज्य का धन है. वापस बुलाता है बच्चे का, from his footwear to his all the jewelry is having keep that. सब का सब पूरा कंगाल करके बेच दिया उनको. He goes to Kashi and he is trying to see what he is going to do. काम ढूंढ रहा है, कुछ करने के लिए ढूंढ रहा है. Nothing. Everybody sees he looks like a Kshatriya. Yes. So nobody feels, you look at him, you are frightened because in all like rippling muscles, you know what he is. So it doesn't get anything. At last he doesn't know what to do. His wife suggests you sell me. So he goes to this thing, and because he has to get the money, Vishwamitra has given him 30 days. And he says, for 30 days you have to give me interest. भैया तेरे को देने के लिए है नहीं, इंटरेस्ट मांग रहा है, क्या बात है. He says, you have a राज्य, कंगाल राज्य है, कुछ है नहीं, वो इंटरेस्ट में दे दो. तो राज्य भी ले लिया, सब ले लिया, बेच दिया उनको. So then he went and first he sold his wife. The guy who bought the wife is saying, no, I don't want the child, it's a liability. I have to feed a kid. Sold himself. To who? A Chandala who is taking care of the smashan. This woman gets abused seriously. The child goes somewhere in the evening to play, gets bitten by a snake, comes back dead. She doesn't see the child, she realizes the child is dead. This Brahmana says, you're a slave, I don't care, your child I didn't buy, I didn't pay a penny, I will not spend anything for him, you do whatever you want. She doesn't know what to do. By now she is the beautiful Chandramati who was so well known for her beauty and her grandeur, is completely emaciated, reduced to nothing. He is working with a Chandal, and because he is working with a Chandal in the Smashan Ghat, he is completely filled with soot, he has lost his girth and his weight and everything. When they meet each other, they don't even recognize. In the thick of the night, they are meeting at 1 o'clock in the night. She takes this child, she is not even able to carry him. She takes him and goes there, gives him to her. Harishchandra says, I'm working for somebody.
Ask for money.
If you don't give me something, I can't. I can't do this cremation. So actually, if you see, this is like one of the heaviest stories that you see. All for the sake of principles. All for the sake of the word that they have given. This is the family Rama is coming from. Yes? And you think he is going to be afraid that, oh, what will happen? Dasharatha sent Rama out. You think Dasharatha didn't know that he will die? Dasharatha knew very clearly. He said, I will not survive one day without Rama. So Dasharatha knew that he is writing his own death warrant by sending Rama out. Rama knew that Dasharatha will die. So Rama took the step of going out of the kingdom, understanding very well that Dasharatha will be dead because of his action. Yes or no? It was very clear. Every time any news comes, he is asking, I hope my father is not dead. When he sees Bharata come, this is the same thing he is saying again and again. He is saying, I hope nothing has happened to my father. because he knows very well that his father will not live without him. And his father is very, very open. He is telling that to Kaikeyi, you are actually killing me, that's what you are doing. So Dasharatha knew very well he is going to die. He wrote his own death warrant by sending his son out. For the sake of his kingdom, for the sake of his Satya, for the sake of word that he gave to a wife in the presence of nobody other than themselves. But he had to keep that up. So, what did Rama do? By keeping up, by sticking to his rules, actually Rama enabled the killing of his father. वो किसी का नजर में नहीं आता है, बीबी आती है नजर में, सीता 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 सीता, why all Sita screaming you are doing for what? I will tell you a worse, more difficult story than this. Do you also know that Rama had to ask Lakshmana to commit suicide? Rama forced Lakshmana to commit suicide. वो भी सुन लो. सीता का कहानी बहुत लोग सुनते हैं ना वीडियो में, सब बना के भेज देते हैं. People who know nothing, they don't even read the Ramayana. It's very unfortunate. That's why I kept these sessions to talk in defense of Rama. Kanda basically talks about how Yamaraj comes to meet Rama to say, hey Ram, abhi sab ho gaya, abhi aap pastime pack karo. You can come back to the spiritual world. So it's a discussion that's happening. But Yamaraj gives this condition that nobody will get into this place when we are having this discussion. उसके लिए लक्ष्मण से और बेहतर कोई हो सकता है क्या राम के लिए? No. So Ram calls Lakshmana and he says, your job is to see that nobody walks in. His condition, Yamaraj's condition, is whoever walks in will have to die. So Lakshmana says, no problem. He is guarding the door. At that time, Durvas Muni comes there. When Durvas Muni comes there, Durvasa is known for his anger. So, are you going to endanger Ayodhya? Is my life important? Or is Ayodhya important? He took the decision that my life is not important. Ayodhya and Rama's life is more important. Therefore, I will walk inside and take the curse that comes along with that. So, he walked in, and based on Rama's word that was given, Lakshmana had to go and kill himself. Now you tell me, you're still going to be talking about Sita. What? Nobody knows anything. That is the whole problem. First, father Udadiya. He knew very well father will not survive. Nobody in defense of the father. Father is last priority. Old age home business. No today. Who cares about the father? Second, brother. It's clearly why if you are the king, adjust कर लो ना कुछ. लोग क्या बोलेंगे? सत्य क्या है? What has to be upheld? It's very, very important. Therefore, Rama asked Lakshmana to go. Rama is telling in Yuddha Kanda, he is telling Hanuman, hey listen, I can live without Sita, but I will never live without Lakshmana. Lakshmana is that close to Rama, and Rama is asking Lakshmana to go finish himself. Yes? Easy? This Rama, what Rama went through is nothing in comparison to what Sita went through. Rama is living in Ayodhya. When the Lavakusha, the boys are coming chanting Ramayana, the full Ayodhya heard it. Rama never heard. So then at last one day, Shatrughna, Bharata and Lakshmana come to try to make a request to Rama to see if he would be interested in hearing this Ramayana. What does this mean to you? Iska matlab hai what some Nautch girls were dancing for cabaret dance was happening. Rama was enjoying there, sitting, drinking daru. No way. Rama was living like a sadhu, that even a Ramayana katha is entertainment for him. Nobody has the guts to go to Rama and ask him, will you come to listen to this Ramayana? Nobody has the guts to go tell him that. Can you imagine the life that Rama is leading? Living in Ayodhya, having given up his father gone, yes, having given up his brother on the other side on this thing, having given up on Sita, despite the fact that he loved Sita so much, for the sake of Sita, what all he did, what battles he had to fight, yes, what Rama had to do for Sita, and he had to let go of her. For what? That principle we will see. So, we don't understand these principles, therefore it is very, very easy to. If anybody ever speaks, my request to all of you, you are sitting here listening to this, if anybody ever speaks to say that why Rama had to do Sita, ask them to either shut their mouth up or come and listen to this lecture. It is going to be posted in Facebook. Share this with them. Not only this, there is going to, I will be doing this. This is the first time I am doing these lectures. I will be doing this one more in more concise manner, and these will come out as part of some Insta posts that are going to come. Everything will be short videos that will come. So my request is, let's go ahead and share this with everybody. Otherwise, people are talking gibberish. There is no understanding of why they are talking what they are talking. So, when Bharata is speaking to Kaushalya, see what Bharata is doing, this very, very important aspect that we are coming to. Was Bharata the reason for Rama's going to the forest? Yes or no?
In a way, yes, because the mother wanted Bharat to enjoy.
Yeah, but वो भी बागी था क्या उसमें?
No.
राम को भेजने में.
No.
Bharata had nothing to do with
Nothing
it.
to do.
He was not even there.
He was not there. He was in his Nadiyan.
He was not even there,
Yeah.
and this was not in consultation with him. Bharata had no involvement in this. You know for what distance Bharata goes to give himself a clean sheet? In the eyes of people, in the eyes of Bharadwaja, in the eyes of all the sadhus, in the eyes of Guha, in the eyes of Vashishta, in the eyes of Kaushalya. There is one full chapter Bharata is explaining all the sins. Yasyaryo anumate gataha. He says, whoever did this sin, if I had anything to do, an iota to do with Rama's going out to the forest, may I get all those sins. Pura list karta hai. He lists a whole bunch of sins that may I get that sin. If I even in my mind, in the slightest, I had the thought that Rama has to go to the forest. He lists this down, and when he says this to Kaushalya, Kaushalya is in tears when she hears this. In fact, Kaushalya starts the dialogue by saying, now are you happy that you got this kingdom? That shakes Bharata up. He says, Mata, you are also saying this? Is this how you have seen me? And then he gives himself a clean check. Why do you have to give a clean check? What all Bharata had to do to give this clean check? First of all, he renounced the kingdom himself. He was due. His father had given the kingdom for him to enjoy. He was a prince. Why does he have to live like Rama, sitting in Nandigram? Why he had to do that? Because he wanted to show clearly to the visibility of the people that I had nothing to do with this. उसके लिए त्याग करना पड़ता है. You have to take शारीरिक कष्ट, yes, for you to prove something like this. It doesn't come easily. You can't just, oh Prabhu, I didn't do anything, Prabhu. Oh, so what? They're going to let you go. Simply in words, you are going to say something. For 14 years, he lived like a mendicant. He lived away from his wife, which means his wife is also punished. He is living in Nandigram, eating fruits and roots. Yes? And he went all the way running up to there with the full Sena, with full readiness to coronate Rama. And he exemplified to show that कोई एक शब्द बोल नहीं सकता है. आज भी दुनिया में कोई एक शब्द बोलेगा नहीं कि भरत actually had some aspiration for the kingdom. Some funny fellows like Devdutt Bhatnaik will say some funny videos. I don't know what the fellow has read. There's so many inappropriate things that are being said. People think if somebody speaks intelligently, you will sell your allegiance for whatever. Everything else he says, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Somewhere this foolish fellow has said Rama had many wives. Let him show one verse to prove. I am doing detailed reading of Ramayana. Let him show one verse from where he gets this data. Sita is saying, I'll give you data for that. Sita is saying, she says for men there are three vices. One is anger, and one is parastri gamana, when you desire somebody else's wife. And then one more. She says, you, under no circumstance, will you covet another woman. I have not an iota of doubt about that. But when you have your bow and arrow, I see that you become that Kshatriya. Even though you are living along with the rishis. Yes? जैसे बीवी डांटती है ना, मोबाइल फोन नीचे रखो. Like that, she is telling Rama, put your Dhanushban down. Because when you have your Dhanushban in your hand, you're ready to fight. So forget that mood. You have come here for a honeymoon. You are here living here with sadhus. In the ashram where animals are all living happily with human beings. Why would you do this? Yes? That's what she is saying. So at that time she is giving. Listen. My father would say, you get a certificate from your neighbors. You get certificate from satsangis. You get certificate from your colleagues. All that is possible. But to get certificate from the wife. And that too, this certificate. Yes? Because she understands a man like the back of her palm. If he looks this side, he knows where he is looking, for what he is looking. Yes, everything a woman knows. There's nothing you can hide away from a wife in reality. Yes? And that wife, Sita, is giving Ram this certificate. So you have to understand, Rama lived more than a sadhu living in Ayodhya at the time that he was there. And that is why we respect Rama, even today from that perspective. So all this, without understanding retribution that people talk, it's not good. So how were the kings of those times in the past? I picked this up from Manu Dharma Shastra. And Manu Dharma Shastra says, kings kept a set of religious advisors to consult, and the king remained a power unto himself for the simple fact that he bore the result of his actions and decisions. मैं कुछ गलती किया, मुझे भुगतना पड़ेगा. ना सिर्फ मेरा गलती, मेरे राज्य में मेरा प्रजा से जो होता है उसका भी मैं भागी हूँ. And therefore a king is always very careful to see that his people will deal and live very, very good lives, dharmic lives. Yes? On the other hand, if he actually makes out good justice, takes care of his, that is his only way to salvation. His way to salvation, वो स्वयं जाके भगवान का नाम वो जाप करेगा, उसको नहीं मिलेगा भैया, तेरे को अपना कर्तव्य करना पड़ेगा, लोग के लिए सब, you have to do everything for your people, and your bhagya is tied with the bhagya of your people. There is no escape for you. And the people also think that our stability and well-being is ensured by the king. He takes kar vasool karta hai. He is taking taxes from us, 1/6. Yes? Bali, Shadbhagam, 1/6. Udhritya, he is accepting from us. And therefore, Nripasya, Arakshataha Praja. What is his duty? Praja ka raksha karna, uska kartavya banta hai. So, Praja is safe. जो बाहर वाला आके अटैक करता है, the Raja is supposed to. वो अटैक कर रहा है, but you see my wife does not want me to fight. भैया, आजा, युद्ध के लिए. There is no escape for a Kshatriya. There is no two ways about what he is doing. Yes. So the king's salvation depends on his subjects. He suffers the consequences of their sins and profits from their merit. If the praja is doing well, he is going to get more dhana, which he will again use. He is supposed to see that this is sahayajna praja srishtva. Then he is supposed to give to the brahmanas for them to do yajna. Why Vishwamitra came? Why Harishchandra is giving all the money he made? He gave to Vishwamitra. Yes, this is the cycle that the kings make, and his subjects depend on him, for he protects them when he should, and his people may devote themselves to their duties. Now, we have 15 minutes, and I am going to take you to 1922, London. We are talking legal system, law. We are going to talk about a principle of law. Let's listen to this carefully. And it's a very, very important principle available even today. The principle says, justice must not only be done, but must also be feel to be done. साफ साफ दिखना चाहिए कि इधर न्याय हो रहा है. नहीं नहीं प्रभु मैं न्याय ही किया, वो कुछ बता के कुछ फायदा नहीं है. Everybody should be able to see Prabhu, he is like that, he is very truthful. That should come. No, I know within myself, Krishna knows, all this is not a Kshatriya's dialogue. Kshatriya's dialogue is everybody should be able to visibly see that justice is done. This is the most important principle. Where does this principle come from? We will see. There was a Lord Hubert. Lord Hubert's case, there was a case that came to him. He was he was a remarkable English judge, born in a poor family, was a journalist initially, and then suddenly became a big guy, 32 upward, and he became the Chief Justice in London, representing the Queen at that time. So one case came to him. There were two people driving on a motorbike. You see, in the old days you have a side carriage motorbike. Yeah, yaad hai? So there were two motorbikes, complete fog, किसी को कुछ दिखता नहीं है, and they were coming against each other. They didn't see. They hit whoever was the pillion, possibly his wife or whoever was on this, got thrown off, and some serious health damage. No death, no nothing. So what happened? This guy filed a suit saying that because he did this to me, I had this problem. So when the case went to the court, दोनों तरह के lawyers argue कर रहे हैं. So the court goes into remission, stops in between, and the judges go into their chamber and they make a decision what has to, and then they will come back and narrate their decision. So when they went into their chamber, one of the two judges, one of the two lawyers who was arguing the case, also knew the judge very well. He went into the judge's chamber at that time. He never spoke to the judge about this case. He didn't try to influence this case. Everybody knows very clearly, most people knew that ऐसे कुछ नहीं हुआ, बात नहीं हुआ, कुछ नहीं. पर judgment जब आकर दिया, the judgment was given in the favor of this guy who went in. So the other person went and filed a suit to say that this is not justice done. He should not have been there when the judge is making the decision. He could have influenced the judge, so this is wrong. So this case came up to Lord Hubert. What did Lord Hubert say? He said he accepted that इसने कुछ influence नहीं किया उसको, judge को, but he said it is not merely of importance, but it is of fundamental importance. Law के नजर पे it is of fundamental importance that justice should not only be done. सिर्फ justice किया वो काफी नहीं है, पर सबके नजर में दिखना चाहिए, but should manifestly and undoubtedly seem to be done. You are understanding the verb of it? उसने इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं किया, जाके उसको जज को घूस देके कुछ आज जैसे हो रहा है वो कुछ नहीं किया. Nothing was done. He was just present with the judge at that time. He was a friend of his, that's all. But he was present there at that time. So when this guy went and filed this case, he said what was important was not what was done, but what appeared to have been done is important. You understand?
जो हुआ वो नहीं, जो दिख रहा है वो
हाँ, वो दिखता है वो बहुत important. आज का कहानी क्या है? एक कोर्ट सीधा लोग ने देखा, सारा दुनिया बोलता है कि ये रास्कल है. वो लोअर का हाई कोर्ट, ये कोर्ट में ऑलरेडी उसका ये दे दिया, वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाके उसी चीज पर लड़ेगा. और जिसके नाम पर 1000 केस है, 2-4 लोग को मार दिया जिसने, वो जाके अपना वो जाके राजा बनेगा. दिस इज नॉट रामा's time. In Rama's time, you have to be specklessly clean. You can't have like one Bill Clinton. For all that we know that rascal did, and he is still the president of United States. अरे कुछ शर्म नहीं है rascals. This is not Rama. Rama means you have to be completely clean chip, not truly only to yourself, but evidently to everybody. कोई प्रेस में तेरे बारे में एक लिख नहीं सकता एक शब्द. This was how Rama lived. So this case, nothing is to be done which creates even a suspicion that there has been improper interference in the course of justice. Now you understand what I am trying to make here? take this judgment. This is current day judgment. ये नया कुछ judgment नहीं आया. This is the mood of law always. Law has existed eternally. So according to law, जो justice किया है वो बड़ी बात नहीं है. सबको दिखना चाहिए और सबको मन में मंजूरी होनी चाहिए कि दिस इज जस्टिस. जब एक व्यक्ति उस पर प्रश्न पूछता है दिस इज नॉट जस्टिस, देन जिसका राम जैसा दिल है उसको दर्द होगा कि मैं कैसे उसका उत्तर कैसे दूंगा इसको. मेरे बाप, मेरे पूरा परिवार, खानदान का नाम इससे खराब हो जाएगा. सो व्हाट विल आई डू टू पुट दिस इन प्लेस. सो रामा सिंपली डिडंट से हो गई सीता भाग जाओ. This is the same Rama, for the sake of his family, for the sake of his Satya, for the sake of his Dharma, has to let go of his father. The same Rama who has had to let go of Lakshmana, and for the sake of the same Satya, if he lets go of Sita, you are in trouble with that. Yes, justice should be done and seem to be done. दूसरों के नजर में राम को मालूम है, clean and clear. He tells that to Lakshmana. And I heard this guy, I saw there's something written by Devdutt. This is not in Valmiki Ramayana at all. Next time I will not speak like this because I am going on record. I will quote the actual phrase and I will give you the Valmiki equivalent. Rama tells him, she has already expressed to me that she wanted to go to the forest. He knows she is pregnant. Lakshmana is saying, why do you engage me in something like this? Everybody knows, including Rama knows, when Lakshmana is going and seeing him, he is seeing Rama with red eyes and he is crying. This is the first description that Valmiki has. He is saying, now I am having to do the same thing that I will do to you in the future. Now I am having to do to Sita the same thing I have had to do for my father. For the sake of Satya, my father threw me in the forest for 14 years. At age 25, when I am supposed to be honeymooning with my wife in the kingdom, my father threw me in the forest for the sake of Satya. So I don't belong to a family who will shy away from doing something which is difficult. When I see that justice has been done according to me, but is not seen to be done. Lok ke nazar mein, this is not justice. So how I am going to get out of this? How am I going to protect my name? How am I going to protect the name of this being a king? How am I going to protect the name of Raghuvamsha? How am I going to do that? So he said, take her to Valmiki's ashram. He didn't say throw her in the forest and come. He tells him, Devdutt is saying, Lakshmana is sitting in the chariot and Sita gets down and he tells her, now you can go. Literally. It's not that. They get off on the chariot on the banks of Sarayu. He gets on a boat. He holds the boat for Sita to get in. This is Valmiki Ramayana. He takes her across, because across that side is Valmiki's ashram. He goes and leaves her in front of the ashrama. He does not tell her, please don't tell anybody you are Rama's wife or anything. No such dialogue is there in Valmiki Ramayana. I don't know where people cook these things up. They just want to make things dramatic. He drops her there and he is crying profusely to say, at that time Sita is saying, hey Lakshmana, look at me properly. I'm pregnant. He said, even before I have never seen anything other than your ankle bells. Yes, and you're asking me to look at you. She said, this is that kind of a circumstance in life that you will be proof to understand that I am a fully pregnant woman at this point in time. And she says, go tell Rama that I know what he is doing. I just pray to Rama and I pray to God that Rama will always be my husband. Except that I let there be no separation in my life anymore in the future. She is giving a clean chit for Rama because she understands. Lakshmana is explaining that people are talking like this about you. Rama does not have this intention. Yes? But she is a Kshatrani. You think she will not understand why he is doing this? She understands very clearly why Rama is doing this. So, when she is gone and left there, She is there on the banks, she is crying. Some of Valmiki ashram, the bachas are coming to the shore, they are seeing her. Immediately they go inform Valmiki. You know what? The good news, Valmiki is not some new person out of nowhere. I'm late. 3 minutes to go. He's not some... When earlier in Aranya Kanda, when Rama goes through the forest, he goes and visits Valmiki ashram with Sita and Lakshmana. So Valmiki is not some unknown person that he just dumped her somewhere and walked off. They have already visited and Valmiki knows very well who. So Sita is not incognito, nobody knew nothing, no. Valmiki comes, he receives her. Valmiki says very vocally, Valmiki says, I know whatever has transpired, I know who you are, I know everything. Don't worry. He takes her, escorts her and takes her to an ashrama full of ladies. Now this is not some, funny ladies who got thrown out of their houses. These are great sadhvis who are living there. And along with those sadhvis, he goes and deposits Sita there and he comes back to Rama. This is very, very clearly there in Valmiki Ramayana. So Lakshmana is standing here across the other side and watching as to what is happening to Sita. And then he goes back to Rama. When he goes back to Rama, he doesn't get to meet Rama for... So Rama, we seeing Rama is like completely done and finished. That's when Rama says, for 4 days, I have neglected my kingdom because of this great impact in my life that I have had to take. But now I have to come back. So, please, my only request is, let us understand the greatness of Rama. Let's understand the suffering of Rama. Let's understand, nobody in Ramayana has gone through anywhere near the difficulty of Rama in the entire Ramayana. Nobody can match him up in the pain that somebody is seeing. Sita has not seen as much pain. Rama has seen more pain. Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Any questions, comments?